Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris and welcome to another early review of a LEGO Monkie Kid 2023 set, which has been provided for free by the LEGO Ambassador Network, so a big thank you to the network for allowing me to share this with all of you. But also, of course, this review will just be my opinions. Just because I got it for free does not mean that my opinion will change on the matter, because I certainly will be judging this specifically based on the price point, where you're going to see more of that later on in the review. Now this is set number 80041, May's Dragon Jet. It joins the ranks of a ton of different May flying sets. We previously got a May Jet before, but this is the smallest one we've gotten yet, where I'm pretty curious to see exactly how it will stack up against the other May vehicles. You can see kind of the three of them here, the three smaller ones, the car, the bike, the big jet, and now the little jet. But this actually has a secret to it because you can actually combine it with another set in the wave, which is the Monkie Kid Combi Mech. So we'll showcase that in the video as well. And so without further ado, I think it's time we just jump right into the review of May's Dragon Jet. Alright, so this is set number 80041. At the time of this recording, similar to the other smaller set 80040, the Monkie Kid Mech, I unfortunately have not been given the prices for these. I really only know that just judging off the size of the box, I think this is probably going to be $25. I would like it to be $20, and if it's $30, that's way too much. LEGO, what are you thinking? But hopefully this is $20. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be $25, which is alright. It definitely still feels like it should be a little cheaper, but $25 is not too bad. But essentially this is one of the starter sets of the wave. It does actually come with 3 minifigs, which feels pretty generous for the set itself, especially because the equivalent Monkie Kid Mech, which you can see right here in the background, only came with 2 minifigures. However, this does likely kind of feature less pieces. It does feel a little bit more compact than the mech, so I guess they kind of made up for it on the side build category. The set specifically introduces yet another jet for May. We already got a larger jet for her for the Spider Queen wave, but this is a much smaller one, which actually does have a really cool feature that can combine with the Monkie Kid Mech, which we'll show off near the end of this video. It comes with this little extra side flyer piece, which can attach to the back of the jet here. Very simple. There's just an axle on the back, and you kind of stick it in the axle there. And then you have a few little builds for the Ink Demons here. Now, we have taken a look at the Ink Demons in other videos already, so we won't be spending too much time on them now, but you can actually see them specifically with the cannon here. This features one of the new stud shooter type elements from 2022, as well as a barrel to hold ammunition, which is cool. So let's set aside these figures here. These side builds are interesting. I actually kind of like the construction of this particular side build here, but of course the main focus is on the jet itself. So taking a look at just the jet itself and setting aside the side builds here, this is a pretty interesting build. It certainly felt very small when I was putting it together, but I was also quite surprised by the amount of detail they managed to layer into this. When I first saw pictures of this on the box itself and kind of unboxed these sets, this felt not quite worth the size of the box it was in. This kind of felt like a side build to a larger build. Didn't really feel like it could carry its own set. But then when I was putting it together, I actually started to really appreciate the amount of detailing they're able to cram in here. As you can see, you've got the different layers of her color scheme, from the teal to the bright apple green to the lime here, which is very cool. You have this detachable flyer, which acts as completely its own thing, but right now you can kind of see it as jet exhaust for the back of the ship itself. This whole thing just detaches like so, which is very nice to see. You have these standard blade pieces being used as kind of contrails. They have recolored the new blade piece for Monkie Kid 2023 in transparent green, which is very cool, using this kind of cloud wing piece to fold outwards, which I think is a very cool design. And overall, I think it is one of the more sleek designs for a jet. I do like how it is pretty unique in the fact that it has this very large engine on the front of it, and unfortunately the May minifigure is just reused from this year's 2022 wave. I don't know why they are specifically reusing figures for a lot of these smaller sets. It seems that honestly the budget for minifigures has gone down a little bit for this year's wave. Obviously there are less sets, but there are also a lot less minifigures and a lot less new designs. So they are just reusing the older figures, but it's not a big deal because obviously the point of the set is not just to get the figure, the point is to be able to have a jet as well, and it is a very good jet. So these are the new style of stud shooters that came out earlier this year, which are in gold, which is very nice. You can just kind of shoot missiles out of there. The wings can be angled in any which way, so you can kind of change up the look and feel of the jet depending on how you want the wings to be angled. You can have it be more of a glider soaring through the air like this, or you can really fold it up and feel like it's going really fast in a very sleek flyer. It is basically whatever you want to do with it. You can play around with it, which I think is a cool thing to have in general. And I think it does look quite good, even with the additional extra flyers separated. Like here, this just acts as its own thing, and the only thing is that this is just a very obvious axle that's doing nothing. But I guess if you have your own pieces, you could cover it up with like one of these or something like that. So it's not a big deal, just kind of feels awkward with the axle there. And I like how it's even armored up on the bottom here. You've got some transparent pieces, you have some layering of armor, you've got some mechanical detail here. So it isn't just a jet that only looks good from certain angles. I think this looks good from pretty much all different angles of the build itself. Now this is hiding a bit of a secret, and that is that it combines with the other Monkey Kid mech, which is a really cool combination. We'll showcase it later, but because of that, there's a lot of stuff in the build that are almost, it was very confusing to me at first putting it together. I did not realize they combined, so I was like, why are we doing these on a joint, and then it clips on, and then why is this whole thing just kind of clipping onto the back here? And then I realized all of these things are built specifically so it can interface with the Monkey Kid mech, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's interesting that you can actually mount these on the back of the mech itself, but I certainly feel like maybe it suffered a little bit in design because this is clearly built around the function. Every single bit of this is specifically designed to be able to fit around that mech, and maybe that prevented it from doing its own thing and kind of achieving its own shapes because it specifically was made to act as kind of a jetpack for that other mech. Still, that being said, I think it's a pretty decent set. Unlike a lot of the other Monkey Kid sets, it doesn't absolutely blow me away in terms of build quality or building techniques, but it's alright. It's a nice, small, simple offering to get kids introduced to the Monkey Kid theme, and that better mean it has a cheaper price, because $25, I think, especially for this, is really pushing it because it doesn't feel as substantial as the other mech. Even $20, I feel like, is a little high for this, but with 3 minifigures, sure, why not? I'm counting each figure as like maybe $3 to $4, so I guess 4, 8, 12. That's already $12, which doesn't seem quite right to me. But then again, if you count the figures as like $12, and this certainly feels like a good deal, but these are really, really simple figures. They're probably going to be sold for like $1 on Bricklink or something, so I don't know. I certainly think that this should be no more than $20. $25 is already a big stretch, and it definitely shouldn't be $30, so we'll see about that. But I think we've summed up the look at this particular build, and it's time to take a look at some other stuff, because we have so many early reviews to get through. I apologize for the channel being swarmed with early reviews around this time of year, but I mean, thank you to Land for sending me these, and I will be spicing it up with some other videos here and there as well. And so, we have about summed up our look at 80041. Okay, so before we go, there's one last thing I want to showcase. This is the Monkey Kid mech, and this is Macjet. And you know what's really cool about them? They came in the same size boxes, I assume they're at the same price point, and they are made to combine with each other, which I think is really cool. Let's see how that happens. So first of all, you can take Macjet here and just kind of open this up. Now, what you do specifically is that this swings open, so this whole canopy swings upwards. You have this piece, which now detaches from the jet itself. It's really the jet's doing all the heavy lifting here. The mech, you don't change anything on the mech. All you do is snap to the back, kind of like how you would do back in the Bionicle days. Roll this canopy over the mech here, so you kind of have the additional armor there. Now this whole thing kind of goes backwards, but you have the guns that swivel forward right here. You splay the wings out even more, and that is it. This is basically all you need. Oh yeah, and you can detach this little flyer thing if you don't want to have it on the mech. But this is basically what you need to actually have the combination between the two sets. This is really cool and really reminds me of something you would see out of LEGO Exoforce or something like that, but just kind of done in the modern age. Combining two sets together is a really cool thing to do, and it's really simple too, because you have the wings on the back here. Obviously this helps it with flight. You can kind of see this as maybe like a jet engine on the back, like a set of engines or turbines or whatnot, and then you have the guns facing forward, and it's very cool to have this swing down. Now, could there have been more integration? Probably. I certainly think they could have done something more interesting with the back of the jet here, which is kind of just
a gun or jet exhaust type piece. I don't know what exactly that's supposed to be on the back of this mech. I certainly think they could have done something a little bit more interesting with this. But everything else I think is really cool in the way it comes together. Those wings certainly look very cool. You can act them as spikes for the top of the mech. And overall, very cool how LEGO is designing sets to be combined together, even though that just meant putting clips on the back of this one and putting in all the transformation work for the Macjet. But yeah, that's how they come together. And to separate, you just go like that. This whole thing flips down. This folds forward. These close up, and the wings fold in. And yeah, there you have it. Mech and jet that are combinable. Very, very cool, LEGO.
Alright, and with that, we have summed up our review of May's Dragon Jet. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the set? Do you think it's worth the price given the rather small scale? Or do you think the Combi Mech, which is the set it combines with, is just a little bit better in terms of value? I certainly think the mech is better in value, but I really do like this because it does remind me of some of the old LEGO Exo-Force stuff where you can combine two mechs and really kind of add it as a booster to other stuff. So it kind of feels a little bit nostalgic in terms of the LEGO lens. But with that, we've summed up our review of May's Dragon Jet. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this model? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Are you planning on getting it when it releases on January 1st, 2023? And with that, we've summed up this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analysis coming your way very soon, and bye for now.